Hello everyone, welcome to your channel, Asixoxeni Let's Talk with Usiziba. My name is Tabo Usiziba. Very glad to be with you today. Very happy to be with you. If you haven't already done so, please join the family. Hit the follow button, hit the likes. Today's topic, building a house in Zimbabwe. Will you ever live in it? This is a very, very difficult question for many people, for many Zimbabwean diaspora. I say so as a diaspora myself. I say so because I've had dreams and I've had so many times, dreams to one day retire and be able to go and bask under the sun in Zimbabwe, my home city in Bulawayo, in my nice big home, minding my own business with cats and dogs running around the yard. Surely a dream for many of you out there. The question becomes, is it a reality for many of you, or is it just a thought and a dream? Okay, let's think about a few things here. There's one thing that I'll tell you. I was in Zimbabwe, Bensekaya. For those that don't know, I live abroad and I call myself a transnational. I live between countries. And I was in Zimbabwe just recently. And one of the observations that I made in Zimbabwe was the level at which, the staggering level at which people are building homes in Zimbabwe. Abantu bakithi bale mali, if you don't know. People have money out there. If that's not just the case of savings, people are working very hard out there to raise money to build at home. Great for them. We are Kiwa, Ekai. You go to the rural areas, people are building mansions. You go to the western suburbs, people are building mansions. You go to the eastern suburbs of any city or any, village, people are building mansions. And one wonders how many of those people, how many of those thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people building houses in Zimbabwe, how many of them are really ever going to enjoy the fruits of their labor in those houses? And if only so few are going to enjoy the fruits of that labor, who are these houses being built for? Yazi ingengathi ngisekhaya ngenye imini ngizihambela laphana ngisendaweni ze-City Hall. I think umgwaqo lona ngubani, nguSolobhona. And it was a Friday afternoon when I saw a convoy of Izmota Ezlaicha Izdum funeral. I don't know what they call those vehicles that carry corpses as our funeral homes. Within a short period of probably a couple of hours, 3-4 of those vehicles had come through into the city of Bulawayo, coming from South Africa, carrying body after body after body of people that had passed on in South Africa. And I asked myself, wow, I wonder if amongst these corpses, amongst these dead bodies that are being driven into this country right now, if any of these people, realizing that they are potentially coming from South Africa, if any of them ever enjoyed their life in their own home country, if they have a property, if they have a home, I wonder if they ever even lived in that home. You know, banengi abantu abakha izindlu ekhaya khathesi who cannot even afford to travel home to go and live in those homes. Some out of fear, some simply because they cannot afford to travel home, or they believe they don't afford. Because, there is that thing, umuntu say UK, kumbe say Canada, I'm not going home, it's too expensive, I can't. No, that's not true. You can save up, you can, make a plan, save up, do whatever you gotta do, go home, go and be proud, birthright, it's important. So, that being said, what I have noticed, Djibouti, there are many people in the diaspora who are building homes for gardeners and maids. Not even going to talk about family members, at least it's better in that sense, if that becomes the case. But houses being built for gardeners and maids, that means you build a home and then you have a maid live in it without ayigcine leyo ndlu, and the gardener live in it ukuthi agcine leyo yadi yaleyo ndlu kumbe ngithi yalowo muzi. You buy groceries for them every month. They are not paying a mortgage, they are not paying a rent, they are not buying food. All they are doing is keeping your home, and you go home a day or two on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day, maybe for a week between Christmas and New Year. Ufike uhlale khona endlini yakho for that 1 week, and you go back again on January 3, and they'll see you again after another 11 months, 10 months for 1 week. That's the time you get back to your home. It's tough. I find that to be very difficult. Bese ngizibuza ukuthi, for many people that are doing that, for many of us that are doing that, we're building these massive, multiple, many homes, houses. Do we give ourselves an opportunity to plan? Or at some point in my life or in your life, you want to go and be able to live in that home for an extended, reasonably extended period of time. In my earlier video, I spoke about relocating to Zim and not making it a challenge where you must prove you can stay there for a year or two or forever. But build a home, for God's sake, and put yourself in a position where every year, at least, you are able to go home for 2 months or 3 months and go and enjoy the fruits of your labor. I know but then retire, fine, but work towards that. But save enough money to be able to travel home and, my job, I won't be able to retain my job. I get it. Work towards that. Work towards a sustainable income source that is more on the, on the path of either passive income or remote career. Have something that sustains your life while you are able to travel between your homes of your country where you live and your home country, which is Zimbabwe. I have personally, told and begun and worked very hard to achieve that. And I think I'm about there. I speak this here now because really Recently ngike ngathi ngixoxa lo mngani wami wathi kimi indoda uyazi bengisekhaya and izindlu engibone ezisakhiwa laphana. That was somebody else's opinion. Kunzima, kuyahanjwa. But the question that we both ended up asking ourselves is, how many of those people are really going to live in those homes? So lapha, the purpose of my video is, asakheni bobaba nabo mama, let's build, but let's also make sure that we are also working on the sustainable ability for us to be able to visit home, not only to visit home, but to go and live at home, and not forever, but to use or to take advantage of our transnational residency or citizenship. Kuqakatheke kakhulu. Abaningi bethu, like I said in my previous video as well, ngiyakwazi ukuthi abazukulu sebengaphandle kwamanye amazwe, abantwana bonke bangaphandle kwamanye amazwe, umuntu abesesithi but then mina ekhaya ngale you know ngiyahamba ngiyehlala khona njani, but at the same time the person is still building. Bese ngisithi mina abelungu laba who are not even indigenous to our country, who are born and bred and raised in these foreign countries of Britain, how come they snowbird by going to our countries, bahamba ihlala 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and they come back to their home country in Britain? Why can't we do the same? Especially Tina, that have had the privilege of working abroad and the ability to raise hard currencies, which can be saved, you know, enough or invested well enough to be able to serve us as our retirement packages. Let's think broadly, fellow Zimbabweans. Let's build those houses in Zimbabwe, but let's also build our abilities to be able to go and live in those houses. And don't wait to leave when I'm 70 years old or when I'm 60 years old. So many people are dying in their 40s and 30s and 50s and 60s, not to say, you know, to burst anybody's bubble or to scare anybody that, you know, life is just so short now. No, all I'm saying is, if you're going to build a home in Zimbabwe, just like I am, you know, I have done, fight to go and live in that home. Ungayakheli osisi abasebenze ezindlini, labo bhuti abasebenze ezindlini. Build that home for yourself. Go and live there, whether it is for a month or 2 months or 4 months. Find a way to go and live in your home. That's my take. What's your comment? What's your opinion on this subject and these opinions of mine? Ngiyabonga.